Children, the next topic today what we are going to study is fertilization in plants. So already we have studied the sexual reproduction in flowering plants involves two processes. First process is pollination, after that is the fertilization. So already we have studied about the pollination in detail. Next we are going to study about the fertilization. So before studying this fertilization in detail, let's understand the structure here. So here you can see this is the structure of the gynecium. Now here you can see this part is the stigma. Stigma is below the stigma is having a style, and the style is connected to the ovary. Okay, inside this ovary you can find the ovule is present there. Inside the ovule the embryo sac is present there. Okay, now here this diagram represent the pollination process is over. The pollen grains has deposited over the stigma. Now after the pollen grains has deposited over the stigma, the pollen grains they germinate and they give rise to the pollen tube. Okay, all the pollen grains they will germinate and they will give rise to the pollen tube. The pollen tube will always grow towards the ovule because this ovule sends a chemical stimulus. As a result, the pollen tube always grow towards the stimulus, that is towards the ovule. So let's understand this process of fertilization. So pollen grains reach the right stigma and begin to germinate. So when the pollen grains have deposited over the right stigma only, they will germinate. So pollen grains, they forms a small tube-like structure that is called the pollen tube, which emerges through the germ pore. The content of the pollen grain move into the tube. So here, once the pollen grains are deposited over the suitable stigma only, they will germinate and they will give rise to the pollen tube. So already we have studied about the structure of the pollen grain, that will recall once. The structure of pollen grain we have studied. The pollen grain they have two surfaces. The outer surface is rough, hard, okay, and uneven. That surface is called as the exine. The inner region that is called as the intine. The intine is divided into two regions. The larger cell is called as the vegetative cell and the smaller cell is called as the generative cell. Next, what will happen when the pollen grains they germinate? This is the germ pore which is present in the exine. So through this germ pore, the the vegetative cell they will come out in the form of a tube. The vegetative cell they will develop into a form of a tube that is called the pollen tube. The generative cell will enter inside the pollen tube and it will divide into two male gametes. Okay, the generative cell will enter inside the pollen tube and it will divide into two male gametes, or it is also called as two sperms here. Okay, so this is about the pollen tube. So here that is what we have studied here. When the pollen grains germinate, they will give rise to the pollen tube, and the pollen tube comes out through the germ pore and the content of the pollen grain enter inside the tube. The pollen tube grows through the tissues of the stigma and style. So here you can see, here is the pollen grain. The pollen grain is giving rise to the pollen tube. This pollen tube is growing through the tissues of the stigma and the style, and it will grow, finally reaches towards the ovule. And this pollen tube enters inside the ovule through a small opening that is called the micropyle. As we already studied about the structure of ovule, that we have studied, the two integuments leave a small opening that is called as the micropyle. So the pollen tube enters inside the ovule through this micropyle. The vegetative cell degenerates and the generative cell divides to form the two sperms. As already I explained you, inside the pollen grain you have the larger vegetative cell and a smaller generative cell is present there. The vegetative cell it will degenerate and the generative cell will enter inside the pollen tube, and it will form the two sperms, or it is also called as the two male gametes. The tip of the pollen tube bursts and the two sperms enter into the embryo sac. So here when the pollen tube enters inside the ovule through the micropyle, the tip of the pollen tube it will burst, and this pollen tube, as we studied, it contains the two male gametes. The two male gametes will be released inside the embryo sac. Now one thing you have to remember here, the gametes, that is the male gamete and the female gametes, they are always haploid. Okay, so here The sperm, that is the male gamete, which is haploid. The haploid is represented by N. Okay, it fuses with the egg. Egg is the female gamete and it is also haploid and it is represented by N. So two haploid cell, they are fusing. This process is called as syngamy. So the one sperm, as we have studied, inside the pollen tube, two male gametes are there. The two male gametes are released inside the embryo sac. One of the male gamete will fuse with the egg. Okay, and they will form a diploid structure. This n plus this n, the 2n, they will fuse and will form 2n condition. 2 diploid is 2n. So 2n condition, and this structure is called the zygote. So one of the male gamete fuses with the egg. As we know, near to the micropyle we have the egg is present there. So the one of the male gamete will fuse with the egg, and this is they will form a diploid zygote. Okay. Next, the other sperm fuses with the secondary nucleus. Okay, the other, as we have studied, two gametes are there. So one fuses with the egg and the other gamete will fuse with the secondary nucleus. In the center we have in the center of the embryo sac we have the secondary nucleus. So another male gamete will fuse with the secondary nucleus. Okay, so they are, so here this process is called as triple fusion. Already we have studied fusion of the male gamete with the egg is called as syngamy, or it is also called as fertilization. Another male gamete will fuse with the secondary nucleus. Now three cells are fusing here, one male gamete and two secondary nucleus, they are fusing together. So this fusion is called as triple fusion. And this triple fusion will lead to the formation of primary endosperm nucleus, which is triploid in nature. So as I already told you, male gamete is haploid 1n and the secondary nucleus 2n. So it is forming a triploid condition, 3n condition. So here, since two types of fusion, that is syngamy as I told you, fusion of the male gamete with the female gamete, sperm with the egg, that is called as syngamy. And triple fusion is fusion of the sperm with the secondary nucleus, is called the triple fusion. Takes place inside the embryo sac, and this process is called as double fertilization. Since two fusion is taking place, one male gamete fuses with the egg, another male gamete fuses with the secondary nucleus, then inside the embryo sac, this process is called as double fertilization. After triple fusion, primary endosperm nucleus develop into an endosperm. So here this primary endosperm nucleus will form an endosperm. This endosperm, they provides food to the developing embryo. So this endosperm, they act as a nutritive tissue. They provide food for the young plant which is present inside, hidden inside the seed. That is called as the embryo. The young plant is also called the embryo. Later, the synergids what we have studied, as we have studied, near to the egg, there is two more cells are present there. They are called the synergids. And towards the chelacal end, we have three cells are present. They are called the antipodal cells. So this synergids and this antipodal cells, they will degenerate. Now, significance of fertilization. Now, what is the need for this fertilization? So it stimulates the ovary to develop into the fruit. So once the fertilization is over only, the fruit formation will take place. Next, it helps in the development of new characters from two different individuals. As we have studied, sperm is from, that is the male gamete is from one plant and the female gamete is from another plant. So two different characters, they are fused together in this fertilization. Now after the fertilization is over, what are the changes taking place? That is called as post-fertilization changes. So after the fertilization, this ovule will develop into the seed. The integuments, they are the protective cover. Okay, the two outer walls around the ovule, that is called the integuments. This integument will develop into the seed coat. Okay, and this ovary will enlarge and develop into the fruit. So the post-fertilization changes, three changes are taking place. The ovule develops into a seed. The integuments of the ovule, they develop into a seed coat, and the ovary enlarges and develop into a fruit. The seed contains the future plant and embryo which develops into a seedling under appropriate condition. So here the seed, they contain the young plant hidden in it. Okay, that is also called as the embryo, which develops into a seedling. A new plant will develop when the seed is sown in a suitable condition. When the seed gets a suitable temperature, light, water, soil, all the suitable condition for germination, the new seedling will develop, new plantlet will develop from that seed. So hope you have understood the process of fertilization. So we'll start with the next topic in the next class. Thank you, children.